Happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Time for some more white smoke. Hopefully, the final puff of white smoke of the season. Javi Gracia is in charge of Leeds United. He is our new manager now on a flexible contract. I'm assuming that will mean it's till the end of the season. Then we review it at the end of the year. But hey, who knows at this point? But listen, at least we have got a new manager in charge, and it was very important for me that this happened. As I said in the last video, it was quite clear that Skubala wasn't the guy to take us forward. And obviously the board could see that too. Just before I get into it, of course, hit the likes on the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let me just read out a couple of shout outs here. Karen Curtin for a super thanks on the last video, much appreciated. And Max Power, Ruben Science, I think that's called Science, David Harwood, who are new members of the channel. So appreciate that. Memberships are in the description as well. Lewis is saying, KJ, we are back. Hey, listen, I think we've got more of a fighting chance now than we did before. That's what I would say. Tom saying, always a pleasure to catch you live. Yeah, no problem. I'm not sure how long we're going to go. I am going to talk about this and then probably talk about the Southampton game as well, because I don't think I'm going to be on tomorrow, barring any spectacular news. Deshaun is saying too little, too late. No, it's not too late, man. It's not too late. Okay. Ruben is saying it's signs. Okay, it's Spanish. No problem. I got you now. Yeah, Pellegrino saying it's just good to have someone at the helm again. And yeah, I mean, it was just quite clear, wasn't it, in the last game versus Everton, that Skubala wasn't going to be it. I know the board were probably hoping that he could get a tune out of these players and they just delay it a little bit longer. But listen, we had to act. And yes, he's not the first choice, not the second choice, third, fourth, fifth. But I think, he's got pedigree. He's got a little Triple H in him. He's got a little pedigree. As people will probably remember, got Watford to the FA Cup final. It was a bad result in the end, but that was the free-flowing Man City. And listen, I think in the circumstances, it's a good appointment. I do. I think it's a good appointment in considering the circumstances. He's got high praise from around Europe. In terms of his man management style, his style of play that is adaptable. And I think that's quite important. Guillem Balag, I think his name is, was just saying that he knows what's required. He's quiet when he has to be, raises his voice when he has to. He works with players, not imposing his personality, and he reads the game very well during games. And for me, that's the most important thing, because we've kind of lacked that this season on the whole, where we haven't been making adaptations to the game when other managers have done it against us. Deshaun saying, I don't know, man. I was optimistic all last season. Just can see us looking out twice. We'll see. David saying, God, how big is that Southampton game? I'll be there shouting them on. It's huge. It's literally the bottom of the league going head to head. Like it's as simple as that. It is. If Southampton come there and win, we're bottom of the league, people. It's as simple as that as well. So it's an absolutely massive game. It's absolutely massive. But let's stay on Gracia first. They announced that he's on a flexible contract. And like I said at the start, I believe that will mean that they'll review it at the end of the season. Luckily, listen, this guy's had more clubs than a golf bag. So if he's here for a good time and not a long time, I think it probably might even suit him as well. Maybe he's looking for something long term. But, since his last job out in Saudi Arabia, he's had a bit of time off as well. He hasn't worked since June of last year. So he's had time to refresh, had time to rethink things and go again. So yeah. So I think it might be I think it's a good appointment at this stage. Just saying. Let me know in the comments now. I mean, and obviously after the video, who you would have preferred at this point. I'm assuming I'm going to see lots of Nunos, lots of Rafas, but let's have a look. Radaby Leeds is saying with a super chat, thank you, Radaby Leeds. I feel like real ambition would have been get Rafa, as I just said, but Gracia is hopefully going to keep us up. Not a bad appointment. Exactly. I think it's a good appointment, all things considered. And I believe this flexible contract, whatever it is, probably suits the board better than appointing somebody that they're not really completely sure about on a 2-3 year deal. I mean, at the point of where we are at the mercy of managers, to be fair. We can't really, dictate terms to them in our situation. So I feel like this is a good one that might be working. It might work. Econ here just giving a Javi Gracia quote: shouting is a resource for people that have no other way. The more you shout, the less players listen. And there is some substance to that, especially with our players, as people very well know. So I think it's going to be one where And also, he is somebody who will give out fines. You know, you've heard about the stories about him being somebody that will, he isn't shy to give out fines if players fall out of line or are ill disciplined, whatever it is. And we need that. We definitely need that in this locker room. So, yeah, I'm like I say, I'm for it. You know, I'm not saying that he would have been the first choice at the beginning when Jesse Marsh was fired. I don't even know where his name would have come up in the list. But at this point of the season, where we are, especially after that Everton outing, I think it was crucial that we got somebody in. And listen, he's done well with Watford before. A lot of Watford fans are saying that he was unfairly sacked, and you know, I think you could rinse repeat a few managers under the this Watford ownership. So yeah, man. Let's. What I would say is, even if you weren't with him, just get behind him, get behind the team. They need all the support that they can get, and maybe this is the start of a reset for the season because we definitely need it, people. And it starts this Saturday against Southampton. I did say as well. I did hear as well some like mainstream media trying to get Ralph Hasenhüttl to the club. I couldn't have got behind that, people. No, no, I couldn't have got behind that. Just simply, I know, and I know it's unfair to Ralph, but whenever I think of Ralph Hasenhüttl, I think of 2-9-0 defeats, and I also think of him crying against Liverpool. I mean, just imagine if he beat Southampton on the weekend and just dropped to his knees on the hallowed Elland Road turf and started crying. I just don't know if I could accept that. But listen, we've got Javi Gracia. I'm happy with that at this point in the season, and let's get behind him. Lewis saying he runs a 4-4-2, double six, overlapping wing backs and the wide midfields run in the middle. That is correct. He usually does go with two up front, which I think would help, especially someone like Bamford, who doesn't have to keep on trying to run around people or hobble around people, whatever he does. And we can get two up front. Sonny Perkins is healthy again. Wouldn't mind seeing him given a run until Rodrigo is back fit, and hopefully that is soon, people. But he's likely to play with two up front, and for me, that's exciting. I love that kind of football where we've got two strikers up there. But we'll just have to see, won't we? German saying, do you expect any radical lineup changes? Ooh, listen, we'll talk about that in a bit. I don't at this point, but he has been saying that when he was interviewed, it was said via Phil Hayes' Athletic Report that he was telling the board of where they were going wrong in certain games. So hopefully, if he's seen enough, he'll know who to take out and who to bring in. But we can only wait and see, can't we? We can only wait and see. Yeah, Nigel, can Bamford stay at home? Listen. Andrew here saying first thing to do is take the captaincy off Cooper, who isn't the lead, and give it to Tyler Adams. Yeah, I would. I've said it from early, haven't I? This isn't no late train here. I've been saying since Tyler first came, he is somebody who embodies a leader, and I think his case only like heightened in the World Cup. You know, when he was leading USA, taking difficult questions from the journalists and leading the team on the pitch, he was outstanding. And he's not only good off the pitch, he's good on it. So yeah, for me, he is the captain in my head. But I hear what you're saying, Bobby. Bamford and Harrison need a vacation. Tremendous. Skippy is saying he seems ruthless, which is what we need at Elland Road. Players seem to be in a comfort zone again. Some of these guys have been in the comfort zone forever, Skip. Some of them have been in a comfort zone forever. You know, from when they got a manager sack who gave them a Premier League career, guys. But the problem is they get a lot of backing from fans, so that they'll always feel like they've got that air of invincibility. They'll always feel like they have it because they'll always get backed by the fans. So, you know, it is what it is. PR is saying Gracia needs to be a magician. Whoever he leaves out will feel like they've been blamed, but all of them need to get their heads up and deliver his tactics precisely. Listen, there was only a couple of players in that game against Everton for me that did anything worthy of note, and that was Firpo, McKennie, and Adams. I thought that they were the best in the first half anyway, of when we were still in the game. Everyone else needs to just be worried about their places. Everybody. You know, okay, and Ayling too. Let me give Ayling some props as well. I thought he was okay, but there's no one here that's got a divine right to start. We're literally 19th in the table. Like who 19th in the table has a divine right to start a game. I would definitely say I do hope that Mark Rucker's back though. By the way, I will say that I hope that he's back at some point. You know, we're always seeing him on Instagram, still working out, still trying to get fit. If he's back, that gives me a much more of a comfort blanket. So then we can definitely take Harrison out, even though I think Harrison is ready to go as well. He played in the under 21s yesterday, as well as Georginio. They both played in the under 21s game. So hopefully that they're match fit and getting fit and just ready to go come Saturday. We need these players. We need to do something different with this lineup, honestly. Slow, steady Steve saying play JB. Yeah, even give him a go. But for me, at this point in time, though, I wouldn't say that McKennie or Adam should be dropped for JB. I wouldn't say that. So it's only if Rucker's out and Harrison's the only option, then maybe I'd even put him in over Harrison. In fact, I would. I would. SJ44. Remember how Bielsa sorted out Pontus? We've been missing a bit of that. Yeah, listen, I just feel like Guillem says, though, he does try and work with the players, but he is somebody that won't accept any crap, and that's what we need. We definitely need that. So, look, I know I said before I don't want someone to become a worry about being a fan favorite, but you do have to get along with the players in certain aspects. But if he's listening to them, but he knows that his way is better, then they need to listen to him, because we can't. Let's just say now, as fans love to do, give Harrison and Bamford all these excuses. If they don't play well under him, is it his fault again? Is it his fault, or are we just going to keep on blaming the coaches? This is a coach that's done nothing in the game. He's done okay. It's not an outstanding CV, but it's a good CV. He's been to a cup final more recently than we have anyway, hasn't he? So listen, I'm backing it. I'm absolutely backing it 100%. I'm just glad. And listen, it's nothing on Skubala, but you could see that it was way too big for him. His job was way too big. And his comments after the game against Everton kind of like confirmed that as well. He was never going to be placed here interim for the rest of the season. It wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen. Drosy saying, so we like trusting Javi Gracia. Well, I am. Everyone else in the chat who's in the chat now, and obviously in the comments after, let me know your thoughts. I know there was a lot of people disappointed that Nuno was out and Rafa Benitez was out, but listen, it is what it is, isn't it? At this point, it's good to have an actual manager in, right? Zach here, player leadership council needs to be broken up. It's more like a player entitlement council. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Lee saying, still think we're down. I just won't have that. Listen, everyone's got their own opinion, but for me, with 15 games to go, there's just too much football to be played. And to think that teams around us are just going to keep winning like they did on the weekend while we lost is just, it's not realistic. There's too many points to play for. We've got a coach in the seat now, a real, proper manager, seasoned manager. There's too much football to go for me. But listen, I can understand why people think we're not going to get out of it. We have won the fewest games in the whole league, even lower than Southampton, even though they're bottom. Kind of tells you everything that's happened so far this season. But listen, these next 15 games, hopefully the players know how big it is. Slow, steady Steve saying 15-game season, it's not over yet. We're not done yet. Drowsy saying, "Nah, never say that we are down before the last game." Yeah, and the thing is as well. I mean, if you think we're down and the players keep messing up, then there's no point moaning about it, is it? Because you think that we're down, so you would expect them to keep messing up, right? No, I don't know. David Carter saying, "I suspect there are currently some power grabs happening in the dressing room. I hope he can sort that out." There always is, isn't there? There's seniority, which I always think is a BS thing, because just because you're the most tenured, the most experienced, most games, doesn't mean you're a good player. It doesn't mean that at all. You should always you can't treat everyone equal. And I know that sounds like a crazy statement, but there's just some players that you have to look out for more. Neil Warnock always said it, and Neil Warnock's good for a story, but he's right. Tarabet, when he had him at QPR, he knew he had to handle him differently from everybody else. But because he knew what Tarabet would give him, he'd go, listen, he has to get this special treatment. Sometimes that's just the way it is. But some of these guys aren't worthy of this treatment, though. That's the thing that really irks me. They're not as good as they think they are. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, isn't it? Hopefully he does sort that out. Hopefully he does sort it out, man. Jack saying, acid test for the senior players now. If they fail another manager, then we know who's at fault. Well, I already know who's at fault, Jack. And, you can only put it on managers so much. You really can. especially when they put out a performance like they did against Everton. That's not on Skubala, man. That's on the players, and they just completely just bottled it, didn't they? But they've got to fix that this weekend, man. Because no matter what, I think Gracia will be given the grace of time, but I don't think the players would escape if we lose like badly against Southampton. I don't think they would escape it. I don't think they would. Sliced bread Ed saying Fergie the same with King Eric Cantona. Yeah, exactly. And you know what Fergie was like. Ed will know more than anyone being a Man United fan. But you know, not only was he ruthless with players who he felt were about to, tail off a bit and get rid of them, he would allow some special dispensation. I remember as well when it was Ryan Giggs and Lee Sharp. They were, pretty much party lads, weren't they? And in the end, he just couldn't give Lee Sharp any more rope, and he shipped him out, didn't he? I think he came to Leeds next, didn't he? Or was it Bradford? Can't remember the order, but Lee Sharp couldn't stay. Sometimes you just have to give certain players a bit of extra room. Ruben here saying Bamford is not as good as he thinks he is. Look at his body language; tells you everything you need to know about him. Well, yeah, yeah, agreed, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I've slowly see Perkins. Yeah, I would like to see Perkins as well. Give him a shot. It can't be. Listen, it can't be any worse. And I believe at least Perkins probably won't air shot a lot, will he? It can't be any worse. Sometimes you just have to go. He could be the difference now. He could get us 3-4 goals while Rodrigo's out. And please, Rodrigo, hurry up and come back, please. Let's have a look. German is saying, is there one tactical change under Gracia that will make you go, okay, this is different? Yeah, keeping the ball. And again, that's another thing as well that Gracia likes to do. He's a very good, he's a possession-based coach. And listen, we haven't really had that in a while, have we? So yeah, he likes to move the ball around a bit, get the ball moving. He's not really a counter-attacking guy. But as other people have said as well, that he can adapt depending on what the game is. And for me, the adaptability is the key thing. You need that in the Premier League. But yeah, if we're keeping the ball better, German, if we can string passes together, then that will make me go, oh, this is different, because that would be a difference from what we've seen so far this season. Kevin saying Nanto up front on Saturday. I'm not mad at it. We do need to do something with different with Nanto, because teams have cottoned on and have doubled up on him in the last few games. He's been doubled up in nearly every single game for the past maybe 4. So we do need to do something different with him. But I believe if you've got, I don't even think it will be a fluid front three now. But listen, we're going to have to wait and see how he sets us up in the first game before we can really get into how he's going to line us up. I don't think he's going to give much away in the press conference, but we do need to do something different. We can't just keep on relying on Nanto, because he's getting doubled up now, and rightly so, because he's a dangerous player. Definitely, he's a dangerous player. Ben saying, I just hope he doesn't play the old guards like Cooper and Harrison. Who knows? Who knows? But for me, we need to keep that central defensive partnership for me of Verber and Cock. But I think Verber might be hurt. He might be out for this game, possibly. If he's out, then obviously we'll need to rejig the back line. Maybe Strauch will be back from his concussion issues. I think maybe 2 weeks it might be enough. Who knows? Can't really mess around with concussions. But yeah, I would definitely put Strauch in ahead. But you know what? In all honesty, with Liam Cooper, there was a period in November, December. No, not November, December. Just before that, just before the World Cup, where he was getting away with a few mistakes and no one was talking about him. But in all honesty, when he was playing last before this recent injury, he wasn't doing that badly. But in order to truly transition, we do need to move on. But yeah, listen, we'll see. We'll see what happens in it. We'll see what happens with the team news. Yeah, that's what I mean. It looked like it might have been a shoulder problem. I don't know if it's dislocated though. We'll have to wait and see. Kevin saying, I would love to see scrappy football and get 3 points rather than pretty football and lose. And Kevin, that's been a bit of an issue because, as I've said before, it's not like we've been playing terribly for the majority of the season. We haven't. It's just that mistakes and lack of concentration, individual errors have cost us, and poor finishing overall as well. That has to be said. But yeah, much like you, if we have to dug this out, pause, and just grind out 3 points, then that's what we're going to have to do. That is what we're going to have to do, man. Tom saying, KG, do you think Bamford will play better in the front too? I actually do, Tom, because I don't think he's not a lone striker. He's not. He hasn't got the movement to do it. He hasn't got the pace to do it. If he's not holding it up, it's a lost cause for this guy because he can't control the ball properly. But if he can flick it on to a speedy striker next to him, then yeah, I think it can work. I think that would probably be the best thing for Bamford to get a strike partner next to him. Trav saying, dare I say, we actually have a sensible hire here. Yeah, I do. And again, it's all to do with your circumstances and predicament you're in. I do think it's a sensible hire at this point. And, he has my full backing. Like I say, hopefully this is the final puff of white smoke for the season. We don't need any more. You know what I mean? We don't need any more. But just the feeling is left at clubs, especially like the Watford fans who are, you see the Watford fans in underneath the social media posts wishing their manager luck. They obviously felt very fond of him. He did get them to a cup final, so they'll always probably laud that as well and treasure that. But I think that's a good thing. It's definitely much different to the Schroeder one, where his ex fans were like, "Well, you don't want this guy." So listen, I think the board have done what they can. They can at this point, at this stage of the season. Let's just hope it works out, people. We need this. We cannot go down. We cannot go down. And listen, let's go into the Southampton game. Hopefully, yeah, we get the new manager bounce. With Scabala, we got the new manager bounce draw. It took a couple games for Jesse Marsh to get a win. It was 2 losses, and then we finally beat Norwich, I think it was. So hopefully we can start off well against the bottom team and get a win. We need it. 3 points are they're just crucial. For me, this isn't a draw game. We cannot draw this game, and we certainly cannot lose. This is a win. Has to be. This is a must win. If we come out with a draw, it's not good enough. It isn't good enough. Teams are gaining points now. We need to get in the 3 points race again. And it's been a while, hasn't it? What is everyone thinking in regards to this game? Now we've got a new coach. Does that change your opinion of the score line that you probably thought it was going to be under Scabala? Let me know. Matt saying, feel like it's going to be bouncing out Saturday. Can't wait for it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now, man. I'm really looking forward to it. I was apprehensive. I'm not going to lie if Scabala was still here. But I did my video early Sunday, didn't I, over here in Greenwich Mean Time. And pretty much on that afternoon, evening, we were hearing rumours of Gracia being touted by Leeds. So I think the board knew that they couldn't continue down the Scabala route. So I'm just glad that they got it sorted and sorted pretty early. What we on Tuesday? So he's got more than enough days to get with the players and try something. Listen, Southampton didn't have any tactical plan versus Chelsea, and they did okay. So these players at home against Southampton, just don't concede any free kicks. So Mr. Free Kick can't take one, man. David say much more optimistic than I was versus Everton for several reasons. Yeah. Slow Steady Steve saying yes, players definitely wanting to impress now, going for a 1-0 win. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to drop your score predictions in now, and obviously if you're watching the replay, please drop your score predictions in after the video is done. And yeah, let's give our score predictions. John saying 7-0. Rishi is saying 2-1 to Leeds. Yeah. Karen saying 2-1 to Leeds. Yeah. Anybody still think that we might lose? Dunjay 3-1, David 2-0, another David, David Carter 3-0. Thomas would be gutted to lose my birthday on Saturday. Well, happy early birthday, but I think we'll win. I think we'll win. Billy Big Licks. I shouldn't say that name out loud, should I? 2-1. Jack saying 1-1. No, Jack, we can't do that. Yannick saying 2-0 to Leeds. Anybody thinking that Southampton might get a win? I'm actually going for a 2-0 win, people. I know that sounds crazy. A clean sheet in the circumstance we're under, a high pressure game. But I think we might get this one. New manager bounce. Let's go. 2-0. 2-1 has been in my head, but I'm going to go with a clean sheet. Why not? Why not, man? Ray here saying 2-0 also. Trav, if Southampton score first, will we buckle under pressure? We'll see, won't we? We will see. Drowsy here. If Melier don't step up properly, it's a loss. You know what? and but Dave, you say Millia to play blinder. People asking changes that I would make in this game. I probably wouldn't start Bamford. I probably wouldn't. I think that he hasn't deserved a start, and Harrison too. I would take them both out. But it all depends who's fit, doesn't it? It all depends who's healthy and ready to go. But I would definitely bring Brendan Aronson back in. I think that he would be good in this kind of game against like a young Southampton team that do like to get around the pitch. You know, a lot of energy, and I think he could match that. I'd like to see Weston McKennie get the shackles off him now and stop playing so defensive minded and do his box to box thing. I think we've been missing that from Weston McKennie. That's a big part of his game, and it was a big part of his game in Champions League games, by the way, people. And yeah, I mean, those are changes I'd make. I did say on the last video that I would drop Meslier in favor of Robles, but now we've got a new manager. I'm hoping that Meslier is refocused and looking to impress. So I would actually leave Meslier in goal for this one now. If we're still under Skubala, I would say drop him. I would say that 100%, because for me it couldn't be any worse. That, you know, I never want to see that goal again from Coleman. I never want to see it again, by the way. But yeah, I would actually stick with Meslier now with the new manager in here. I think everyone will have something to prove. Everyone will be up for it. They know what's at stake. They know we can't afford any more slip ups like that, especially with a team at the bottom of the league, because then we'll be the team at the bottom of the league. Tom saying, KG, would you play Aronson in the middle? I think he suffered playing out of position. He would be central with Adams in the single pivot and Somerville and Harrison wide. Yeah, I'm not sure about Harrison wide, but listen, Aronson for me, you know, he said many times that he likes to play in 8-2, but I actually think that Aronson has done his best work for Leeds United when he's played a bit on the right hand side. I think he's done really well when he was playing out wide. I think it suited his game more. You know, he wasn't getting doubled up as much as he does centrally. I think he did well on the right hand side, but obviously people might not remember that at this point. But I've got nothing against Brendan probably playing wide right and leaving. Oh no! Somerville has to play. Somerville has to play for me. Listen, there's just options there that leave Harrison and Bamford on the bench. That's all I'm saying. Andy saying drop 1 foot in Bamford and play Nanto and Somerville in a 4-4-2. It's going to be interesting to see. Like we say, he does play a variation of a 4-4-2 and different variations with two up front. So I'm very interested to see. Very, very interested to see. Dilip saying it's at ER, so and fans will get behind the team. I see Nanto scoring. I hope so. I hope so. Someone's very happy. Dave is happy. Gracia is here. He's here, man. He is definitely here. Oh, Andy, no. Okay, just gonna go through a few more comments and then we'll wrap this up. Chris saying, put your team out, KG. Let's see how you want us lined up. Yeah, doing that kind of thing isn't really my thing, man. I just say that of who I'd rather not see in the team and who I would play rather than that. Listen, we don't know at this point. This is what I'm saying. It's a brand new manager. We don't know how he's going to line up. So you're only going to get a template once he gives out his starting 11 come Saturday. Yeah, El Gil saying play Sonny instead of Bamford. Yeah, and even if worse comes to worse, man, and listen, Bamford gets another start. Play Bamford and Perkins together. Give us a two up front. Give us a two up front. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. Jason saying, why this Brendan? He played well in the CL Champions League and is an established international. Yeah, established international. Let me just say this. That don't mean nothing because you could be an established international for San Marino. Don't mean you're a good player. But for me, I just thought Brendan lost his way, and now I think he's had a rest. I think he's ready to come back in. I think he's more than ready to come back in now, and he'd probably do way more than Jack Harrison's done in the last few games. Andy saying our defense could still be our downfall, not enough depth. No, I think you know what. Again, I know we've conceded a couple against Man United, but that can happen against anybody. But listen, Firpo's been improving. He's been probably our best defender in the last few games. Ailing, I think you've probably got your fullbacks there. If Verber's out, it will probably be Strauch and and Cock. You know what I mean? Or maybe Liam Cooper back in. But let's just say it's Strauch after his concussion thing, and he comes back in. But I think we're talking Southampton here. That should be more than enough to beat a Southampton team, barring any mistakes or goalkeeper moving 6 yards off his line for no reason. You know what I mean? I think we've got more than enough to beat Southampton. But as I always say, fans of Southampton players will be looking at us the exact same way. So the players need to be on it from minute one, unlike against Everton. Uh, SJ saying Jorginho is a passenger at the moment. He surely doesn't justify starting. Well, you know what? Everyone's got a big, broad opinion about Jorginho after no starts in the Prem. I absolutely love how that's worked, but yet people want Sonny Perkins to just come up and start. Listen, Jorginho probably does need a start. He does need to get some more game timing from the beginning of the game. I think fans have jumped on his back way too early. By the way, I think it's been very, very over the top as well. Listen, he was never a prolific scorer, and like I said in his signing video, it was always going to be a case of him being more of a forward, trying to link play and do all that kind of stuff and hit long range efforts. And he hasn't had a chance to do that yet. When he's come on in games, we've been under the cosh as well. It's not like we've been on top and trying to look for a goal. It's been us being pegged back in our own half. So to say he's been a passenger after no starts, I think is very, very harsh. And once again, I'll say I don't know if it's going to work out long term here, but I think he needs a little bit more time, especially after not playing a game since November. Regular football since November in Germany. But listen, people will agenda. It is what it is. It is what it is. Edward saying it's easy to be hard on Rutter with his limited minutes. He's looked good on the pitch, but it's really hard to build momentum when you're just given 10 minutes a game. Well, I mean, and unless you're a super sub and you get goals nearly every sub appearance, which rarely happens these days, by the way, then of course it's going to be harder. And he's had a couple. Well, he's had at least one assist rubbed off him from poor finishing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know what it is that's drawing the ire of so many fans about Jorginho in terms of how he's playing. But my thing is, I think it's just the price. I think it's the price that he's cost 35 million, and Leeds fans in general just don't get that you don't always get the complete article for 35 million in the Prem. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you buy a 35 million player for potential and what he can give you. And I do think he's been thrown in early than anticipated because of the Rodrigo injury. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that, people. He's been thrown in earlier because of Rodrigo's injury. You can't foresee Rodrigo getting hurt like that. And if Rodrigo's fit, you probably don't even see Jorginho for a little bit. He'd probably still be in the under 21s. But the 35 million price tag, that's not his fault. He never asked to be bought for that. Yes, he did join us, so he has chosen the move. But at least give him a couple starts, people. Let's give him a couple starts before everyone jumps on his back. Um, yeah, and he is still very rusty. But listen, he's gonna have on his end, he's gonna have to make an impact whenever that is. The price tag is heavy, the expectations are heavy. He is gonna have to work on that. But hopefully against Southampton, he gets a start. If he can't start at home against Southampton, when are we gonna see him? You know what I mean? Andy saying, look at Man City signed 50 million players who never play. Yeah, and that's an extreme example because people always say we're not Man City, and that is absolutely correct. But in the Prem, 35 million, it doesn't always get you proven talent. It doesn't get you a ready-made player. And I think some fans, especially Leeds fans, who because have been out of the league for so long and probably don't watch much football outside Leeds, I find that very difficult to understand that it doesn't work like that. But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, okay. Is there any other points in regards to Gracia that you want to just get through live now? And listen, what I will say is obviously like the video, subscribe, but please turn on your notification bell. It's quite important, potentially important. So please turn on your notification bell. And yeah, yeah, listen, it, just turn them on, turn them on. Mick saying pure arrogance to think we should be stuck in 35 million development players. All right, man. Slow steady Steve is saying, yeah, yeah. It does say that he will be bringing in his own staff, so he will have his own backroom staff that he's comfortable with. So yeah, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Uh, 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 uh. Well, this is a question that only fans can answer. Ruben, how patient do you think the board and fans will be with Gracia? I think I don't know. From what I've seen anyway, and from the live chat here, and obviously the comments after, I think fans will give Yavi some time. I do. I don't. I think they know that it's not his fault, and they know he's not the first choice. But he's a coach with some pedigree, isn't he? He's got a bit of pedigree. He's got a bit about him. So I do think that the fans will give him the time. But obviously, we need to get off to a rocking start against Southampton. It's vital. It's absolutely vital. So I do think that they'll give him time. I don't think the board will be trigger happy, if that's what you mean, Ruben. Like, say in 3 games time, if we haven't won, I don't see him getting sacked like that. I think it would just be too costly. I mean, you can't keep sacking managers because then the compensation fees just keep on getting higher, and then you've got to appoint another one who's going to want money. So I think that the board are they've made their decision now. This is who they're getting to firefight the situation, and this is it. This is the roll of the dice. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, people. Uh, Good stream, good stream. Good that we've got a manager. Huge game against Southampton. Leave your score predictions in the comments below as well. And yeah, please, Leeds, let's get a win. Let's get a win Saturday, man. It's been a long time since we've had a celebration stream. Steven's nervous. I'm nervous, but I'm excited now. I'm excited now. We've got a new manager in the hot seat. Let's get this W, man. Let's get it. And enjoy the rest of your day, night, wherever you are in the world. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, people. Peace out. Turn the notification bell on. Peace out.